Netra, please play the video.
Hi everyone, this is Komal here.
I want a proper cup of coffee from a proper cup of coffee pot. I may be off my dot, but I want a proper cup of coffee from a proper coffee pot. Tin coffee pots and iron coffee pots, they're of no use to me. If I can't get a proper cup of coffee from a proper cup of coffee pot, I may have a cup of tea.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
A pleasant evening to everyone. Today is 27th February. I, Fabina Kolasio from Maharashtra, am going to be your moderator today for this seminar, that is Global Teachers Training Program 2022. I take this opportunity of also giving you the good wishes and well wishes for Marathi Divas that we are celebrating today globally. Okay, I wish everybody a happy Marathi Divas. Today's I will be the moderator, and today we have a new personality that is joined with us, Miss Komal. It's my privilege and honor to introduce her. Miss Komal Goenkar is a founder of Phonic World, a learning center that aims at improving children's life through the power of quality education. Being a UK certified Jollyphonic and grammar trainer, she has witnessed the potential of tremendous transformation in her students' speaking, reading, and writing skills when taught using the right methods under this program. She's also a certified storyteller from Kathalaya, Academy of Storytelling affiliated to the International Storytelling Center, and also a lifelong member of Early Childhood Association, a forum where everyone connected to young children can come together to advocate, discuss, learn, and share, connect and bring about a change in the quality of care development and learning in early childhood in India. Combining her skills, she has established a creative and thought-provoking curriculum using speech, drama, and storytelling as tools to not only enhance children's creative and communication skills, but also making learning easy and fun for them. Apart from impacting children's life directly through her programs for young minds, she also empowers young educators with right knowledge and skills to promote and teach using jolly phonics and grammar. Her intense teacher training modules continue to help teachers and schools develop more effective ways of engaging and structuring the learning of young people for a better educated India tomorrow. So Komal ma'am, here I welcome you on this platform of IDYM, Igniting Dreams Young Mind Foundation. And thanks to Ravi sir for giving us the opportunity. Without wasting time, over to you, Komal ma'am. And the
Thank you so much, Fabina, for such a lovely introduction. And I must thank to IDYM for giving me this opportunity to interact with so many people here globally. We are connected with each other thanks to this virtual world. So today, yes, I am here to speak about power of storytelling. So I'll be very, very happy to first tell you a short story, which is written by me and which is called Dreamy Stick. A Dreamy Stick. Okay. So let me begin with the story, because here the topic is only about storytelling, art of storytelling. So a short story for you all. So once upon a time, long, long ago in a village called Rampur, there lived an old man called Bansi, who always used to walk with a stick. He lived in a small hut which was close to the mountain where he used to work as a laborer. He had his pet dog called Bholu, who was a one-legged dog. Now, Bholu and Bansi were the best of friends. They used to live in a mountain very close to the work. Every day, both of them used to walk for miles and miles after the work to buy the vegetables and groceries. Now, once they come back home, Bansi was responsible to cook food and also feed Bholu. This was every day's task. Now, after coming back home, when Bansi cooked his food, post-dinner, Bansi would also warm his milk, put some turmeric inside it, and light some fire stick, and also would sit while listening old songs in the background. Well, Bholu, who was a dog, also used to enjoy this ritual every day. But one day, that day was different. When Bansi woke up, he couldn't find his stick anywhere. He kept looking out for his stick, but he couldn't find anywhere. He was very, very anxious. Where exactly my stick is? I can't walk without my stick. What would I do without my stick? He kept thinking over it. And the whole day, he couldn't get up from his bed. Why? Because he thought that without his stick, he would not be able to walk. Forget about miles. He would not be able to walk 100 meters. This was something which was very serious now. Bholu, being a dog, also insisted him a lot. Why don't you walk? I think you can walk. Paw, paw. That's what? The language that they used to speak to each other. But alas, Bansi made up his mind that he cannot walk without the stick. Bholu was a dog, a smart dog, got an idea. He quickly went to the neighbor, Sheru, and in his language narrated the whole story. Sheru ran towards Bansi's house and got an idea. He knew what was the problem with Bansi. So he told Bansi, Bansi, what are you waiting for? What are you looking for? We have never seen you walking with a stick. Bansi was perplexed. What? For all these days I was walking with stick. I don't think so I can ever walk without a stick. But Bansi called other neighbors also and made him realize that he never walked with stick. Well, after listening to everyone, Bansi believed in himself and stood up and started walking. Wasn't it magical? Now, I want to ask everybody who's present in this group, what do you think? What is the takeaway from this story? And how would you think? What is the moral of the story? What have you learned from the story? Can we make it a little more interactive if the chat option is there, Sabina? Is it there, Sabina?
Yes, ma'am. I'll try and do it. 1 minute.
Okay.
Just a moment.
We have to hear.
1 minute. Let me just take permission from Ravi sir. Ravi sir, am I allowed to do it?
Yes, ma'am. Please do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I want my audience to be attentive listener, because art of storytelling is not only about telling a story, but at the same time you need to have audience, the active
Okay.
listener.
Yes, I'll mute everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, unmute everyone. Sorry.
Great. So I'm sure the audience who are present here must have listened to the story. I would request you to tell me if the chat option is active, that what do you think that what was the takeaway from the story? From the story of Bansi, who wasn't able to walk earlier, but at the end believed in himself and started walking. Well, stories are very, very powerful. Stories are not only for children, stories are not only for toddlers, that's what we assume, but stories are for every age group. The same story, if I would tell this to children, their takeaway would be different. And if the same story is told to adults, the audience which are present here, your takeaway would definitely be different. Just waiting for some answers, interesting ones.
I have activated the unmute option. So if you can ask them to unmute themselves and talk,
Okay.
that would be
Oh,
live.
that's great. That's great. Can anybody wants to unmute and tell me the takeaway from the story? Is there anyone in the group would like to unmute? Or can raise
I
your
think,
hand?
Miss Komal, it is the power of the subconscious mind. You know,
Yes.
you believe what you want to believe. So if you believe
Yes.
you can't walk, then the subconscious mind sends those messages across.
Absolutely.
And that's how then your conscious body or your conscious mind reacts to it. So it's all that if you can conceive it, definitely you can achieve it. So it's...
That's exactly with the same thought in my mind, I wrote this story. And, you know, when I told the story to children, of course, they also, it made them think, you know, that it's important to have a support in your life, the support system. But at some point, you know, that this support system put us into that comfort zone that we are unable to take our own decisions in life. So in children's life, of course, parents are the support system. But after a certain point, then I think it's very important for them to believe or make them believe that now it is the time that you can take your own decisions. You know, not every time the support will be there with you. So this, as I said, the story, we choose a story as per the age group, definitely. Of course, this story is not for the children, not only for the children, but general audience as well, that, you know, a very, very strong message that we can convey only by using some characters, situations, incidents, describing the characters, and then we create a world inside our mind, inside our subconscious mind, the imaginary world. And that's how I wanted to tell the story, so that in everyone's mind, the image of Bansi and the image of Bholu and the image of Sheru was very different. If I would have shown the pictures of the story, everybody would have thought alike, right? So that is why when a story is being told, the listener, how is he perceiving the story is very different than the other listener. Well, with children, we always tell them the moral of the story, which I personally do not believe to give them or to push the moral to the children. In fact, we make them think that what according to you would be the moral of the story, because the story is always a fictional story, unless you talk about the biographies, unless you talk about the real situations or the real life. Otherwise, the stories are the fictional stories. You change the moral of the story as per your thought process. Well, with this, I would like to share my PPT with you all, which I have created. Power of stories, power of storytelling in early years of education. Well, whatever that we start early would remain with us forever. So being an early childhood educator, I personally believe that, you know, these are the foundation years. If we are trying to create or build on something in these years, it stays with them forever. And this molds their personality. As Fabina has already introduced me to everyone, but this is a very, this is a slide that speaks about me, that I'm a founder of Phonic World, a learning center that aims at improving children's life through the power of quality education. I'm a professional Jolly Phonics, Jolly Grammar, Jolly English teachers trainer, certified TESOL and TEFL from Asian College of Mumbai. Asian College of Teachers. I'm a certified storyteller from Kathala. It's an academy, International Academy of Storytelling affiliated to the International Storytelling Center. I'm a lifelong member of Early Childhood Association, also associated with Helen O'Grady as creative educator and a certified voice trainer and an etiquette coach for children. So whatever program that I'm taking for children, I use storytelling as a tool and a technique to give them a strong message. Why storytelling is important? Of course, this is a question that everybody will have in the mind. And why storytelling? And the pre-primary teachers feel that stories are very important only in the early years. But I must tell you, these are the years when you are trying to create the interest among them for the language. The stories, it's not important to be told only in English. Now, if I talk about a language, you can explore any language for that matter. It's just that the message should be communicated. Here we are talking about English because I'm an English trainer. Telling stories in English not only improves the language skills, but also make them think. So what are we trying to do? Why storytelling is important? Because it promotes the brain development and stimulates their imagination. Now, when I was telling you a story, why did I started with a story? Because when I was telling you a story, I don't know how many of you all were actually went into that village, Rampur, and started creating an image of Bansi, Bholu, and Sheru in your mind. If you were unable to do it, I can assure you that children have that power. Children have that, power of visualization. When you don't show them and when you just tell them, why do we say that bedtime stories are important? Because when you talk about the story, the powerful stories, when you talk about your personal stories with your children sleep with the stories and then they wake up with a strong message, which will always remain in the mind forever. It also develops the language skills, of course. We are speaking in that particular language. And of course, consciously, we are using some words which can be a part of the vocabulary. Now, when we are listening, it also enhances the active listening because you're telling a story in a way that becomes so interesting. And, with your facial expressions, with your voice modulations, when you're telling a story, the listener is actively listening to it. When you're using some props, because with children, it's very important that, you show, if you have some teaching aids with you, you're using those characters or the puppets, the attention span is even better. So it enhances the listening skills, definitely. It raises the enthusiasm for learning different cultures. I have been using a platform where the story is being translated in 26 languages. That's amazing. I mean, one story can be told in so many languages. So children, of course, they're aware of their language. Also, we choose and pick a story which also gives them a knowledge about the cultures, a very culturally oriented stories that builds, because we talk about the characters, we talk about the festivals, we talk about the outfits of that particular culture, which people wear it, the food that they eat. So, stories are again a very, very powerful medium of communicating with the children and passing on your message to them very, very convincingly. You really don't have to tell them, listen, you have to do this and it should happen that way. No, you're just creating a fiction world, a storytelling world where these are the characters which make them believe that this is the message which is subconsciously put in your mind. It enhances the memory capacity. Why? Because once the story is told, you ask any child, they will definitely retell the story. I'm going to tell you the story once again at the end of the session. And if the children are present here, I would definitely love to ask them if they can retell the whole story. It teaches children to be more creative and dynamic with their thoughts. Definitely, as I said, that we never push a moral to a child. Slow and steady always wins the race. No, I don't think so. Slow and steady, it's very, very situational. And it's from generation to generation. It changes. So when we are evolving, The technology is evolving, our mindset is evolving, our people around us are evolving, then how can stories cannot evolve? The creative thinking is evolving. So it's not important to push the model to children, rather let them be more creative and come with the dynamic thoughts. I am sure everybody must have heard about thirsty crow. The children would ask, why can't crow be very smart and use a straw to drink water instead of working so hard and picking up stones and throwing one by one and wasting time so that the water comes up? There's a smart way of thinking as well. Instead of finding out the stones, why can't the child find the crow find the straw and quickly drink the water? Children are very, very creative in their thoughts. So why not explore their creativity by asking them certain questions after the story? They're learning valuable life lessons. Yes, we tell them the story, which is based on gratitude, the appreciation, being tactful in life, the etiquette, being appreciative about others, being empathetic about others. So these are the life lessons that they learn through stories. It enhances their comprehension and writing skills. Yes. Now, when we tell the stories, what impact do they have academically is that they come across many new words. So we are kind of enhancing their vocabulary also. Now, when we are telling them the new words, we are also expressing and acting out those words. So if I have to tell them it's a towering, of course, I'm going to tell them it's a towering as in a very, very big. Atrocious, I'm going to make my face as if, it's something which I'm disliking. Atrocious, I can't be very happy and say atrocious. No, because I have to tell them the meaning with the help of my facial expressions. So a storyteller has a lot of roles to play, because we are telling the story and creating multiple characters. We are switching from one character to the another character. We are switching our voice from an animal to human in our own capacity. So it so as to gain their attention span, so that we can attract their attention. And once the attention is attracted, it becomes very easy for us to pass on the message, to give us to help them learn some new words, vocabulary, and comprehension skills. So the storytelling can be used not only to tell the stories, but after that they retell the story, they write the story, their own version of story. So it's all about the creative visualization. How to make your storytelling session engaging? Well, I have been into this profession for almost 8 years now, and I've been telling stories. I've been conducting storytelling workshops for children, picking up lovely stories for them. But yes, story is just not being told, or maybe just not, the way of telling a story is not about reading a story. That's why we don't say story reading. Story reading is different than storytelling. When you're telling a story, of course, if it's about telling an incident of your life, right? By decorating with beautiful words, by adding some beautiful adjectives, and then passing on the message to them. So apart from the content that you have created, or apart from the content that you have chosen to tell, what other areas that we have to work upon as a storyteller is adding a lot of expressions when we are telling a story. If I'm sad, I really have to make my face as if, I have to express that I'm sad. If I'm happy, I have to express that I'm happy. I'm very, very excited, because this is going to change the pitch, the tone of my story. And I would try to justify the character which I have chosen. Make it humorous. Yes, make it humorous. We can add some songs to it, or maybe we can, making it humorous is also about maybe wearing something. If I'm wearing a cap, if I'm wearing a clown cap, children probably would laugh. But if they can laugh on me, I think I'm a perfect storyteller. If I can introduce my story by wearing this clown cap, oh, your story wala is here. So I think I can, do justice with my story, because I'm here to tell a story and add a humor in my story, so that my children are happy They're not sad. They should not be sad after listening to the story. Voice modulation while changing the character. If I'm playing a role of a male, I would just slowly shift my voice. Of course, people would not expect me to talk like a male character. It's just switching my voice from a female to male, adding some huskiness in my voice. If I'm telling them the fairy tales, in fairy tales, every character was fictional and some witchy characters. So I can just quickly change my voice to a witchy character. This is voice modulation, modulating to your own capacity. Not everybody is good with changing the voice. Otherwise, everybody would have been a voiceover artist. So in your own capacity, if you can change the voice a little bit while, telling an animal story, adding some animal sounds, that makes the story very, very engaging and interesting. Adding props and puppets to make it very interactive. Yes, I do that. If I have to take the attention of that age group, especially now the world is virtual, everybody is attending online sessions, storytelling is also online. So why can't I add some puppet to my story? Now this is a busy bee. Bee is so busy working every day now that the bee is so tired that she just want to sleep. Add a puppet in my story, maybe my story becomes little interesting because I'm adding a different character and children, of course, not showing the picture, the whole picture of the story, but just for a few minutes, that character comes in and goes and again comes in and goes. Then it adds, I'm just trying to add a flavor in my story. Maintaining the eye contact throughout the session is very, very important. Be it online story, be it offline story, it's very, very important that you have to look at the audience. As a storyteller, we cannot be distracted because there will be some children who are not listening to us. It's okay. I can go to that child and look at that child and then tell the story to take the attention. If I am distracted and disconnected, that my children would be easily distracted. So I have to tell the story with the same enthusiasm, whether the audience is listening to me or not. But if if everything is at place, the way I tell a story, I'm sure that audience would be hooked to whatever I say. So that is going to be the power of a storyteller. Adding ice-breaking activities, pre and post storytelling is a great idea to get connected with the story again. Pre and post story engagement can help children to memorize the story. Yes, now as I said, that when I'm going to tell you the story, maybe at the end of the session, I'm going to tell you that how can you make that story engaging after telling the story, right? So we also take up some activities which is completely related to the story or the book that we have chosen, so that your children are also getting into the same character and performing the role. So role plays using drama and is a great way of engaging your audience. Ways of telling a story. Now there are various ways of telling a story. We use big picture books, creative visualization activity post reading the book. So if you're using the book, there are certain pictures in the book. I usually say use a big book, because a small book and then some 30-40 children are sitting, they would not be able to see the characters, they would not be able to connect with the story. So if you're using books, I would recommend use big books. If you want to make a story more creative, the activities that you want to introduce in your story, you can even use a storyboard. You can sketch the whole story using doodles. Now, doodles are something which I have started using in my teachings. If I'm teaching phonics, if I'm teaching grammar, or if I'm telling them a story, doodles are something that I am working on this, because it's just a very, very simple way of making the human characters and telling them the whole story. So if the teachers, if the educators or the storytellers are still okay with using art as a technique, then go ahead, sketch the whole story. I have tried with my children, teaching them the whole lesson using only doodles. Acting out the story, role playing the story by playing the characters. Now, this is where you can make it engaging, and the active participation of children, where you are, if it's a story of a Cinderella, you can choose the characters of Cinderella, give them the dialogues and let them act. This is a dramatization that we do it so as to make them completely understand the story. When they're performing, they are a part of the story. So by playing the characters, I also introduce speech exercises, how to project your voice. Projection is very important. How to, why jaw exercises are important. Since I'm a phonetics trainer, I give a lot of importance to the vowel exercises so that, they're opening their mouth and talking. Sometimes it's very important to be to be aware of your sounds, English sounds. I'm talking particularly about English sounds, and speaking so that, every sound is articulated. So the articulation is also a part of the speech exercises. Projection is a part of jaw exercises, breathing exercises. All these exercises are so important to make them not only, would not help them to role play the character, but also going ahead also helps them to be a better public speaker. Using picture cards and creating a chain of stories. So I use the picture cards and make it even more interesting. And we create a story thread. We create a story thread that one by one, one sentence is added. If there are 20 children, one sentence is added, and we create a story out of it by looking at the cards. These are the story cubes. We just show them the pictures and ask them to make their own story. This is also used as a creative writing, where they create the story and write the story in their own way. And every story would be a different story, maybe. It can be a group story or it can be an individual story. So it makes a collective imaginary story, and it also, the team spirit that together they have created a story. And also we publish their story and, give them a credit that you have created the story. Types of stories, of course, we have to choose a content. We need to know that what are the types of stories for children that can be used according to their age. Yes, 2 years, I've mentioned 2 years or maybe below. We start telling them the story right from the time when they're born. That's the best time, because the listening skills are very, 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 very active. And the listening is active because they just can listen, they cannot talk. So that's the best time, as early as possible. When people say, Vanessa, what is the right age to introduce stories? I say as early as possible. So when the child, of course, is born and you are talking to a child, you're building a speech, any language that you speak, mother tongue, you tell them the stories in your mother tongue, and they are, absorbing everything. So please don't wait your children to turn to a toddler or to turn to a tween and then, tell them a story. Please start as early as possible. What do they do? 2-year-olds, they know, they feel the book, they look at the pictures, they listen to you. The sounds that you're using in the words, the phonemic awareness is so important at that age. If you're introducing a story, you can even tell them a letter story, where in the story you're stressing more on the "a" words. You're talking about a character Adam, you're talking about apples, you're talking about ants, right? You're talking about hat, you're talking about mat. You're creating the whole story around "a" words. And this is how your children are learning the sound at a very early age. So we really don't have to wait for a child to turn 3.5 and teach them phonics, start teaching them or giving them the awareness of sounds. No, we can start as early as possible. 3 to 6 years old, when the speech is already developed, now you start with the factual stories. You give them the facts, and I always ask educators and parents to tell your personal stories, which are very, very unique and very different then the stories which are there in the book. Please tell your personal stories. Attractive illustrations, of course, children fall for those illustrations. So it's important that you choose, if you're telling them a story from the book, choose a book which has very, very attractive illustrations, fanciful stories. Yes, 6 to 7 years, funny stories, animal tales, animal stories are the perfect stories that you can introduce in these years, 6 to 7 years. So this is a short presentation that I have where I want to tell people that why stories are important, what are the ways of telling a story. Now I'm going to share a very interesting portal that I have been using with children and with the educators. I follow them, and that's a Pratham publication. It's called storyweaver.org. I use this platform to read out the story for children. If at all you're taking a reading session and you want to read out the story, but there is a way to read out the story also. You know, you are taking all the techniques that you have already applying to tell a story, the same techniques that you're going to use if you're reading out a story. So I'm going to tell you. So I have chosen a story which is called Angry Akku. If somebody can tell me if it's visible.
Yes, it is. It is.
Great. Now, this is a story about a girl. The girl who is maybe around 5 to 6 year old girl, angry. She's very angry because the title says that Angry Akku. Akku is the name of the girl. How beautifully. Okay, I think I should not be telling you the story. I should be reading the story, and I should be telling you. You would understand by the end of the story that, you know, how wonderfully that you can explain the child the emotion anger. When the last school bell rang, all the children laughed and screamed with joy. All except Akku. Akku was very angry. Yes, she was very, very angry. Akku, Akku, look at the pretty sunflowers, said Appa as they rode through a field. They are too yellow. They're making my eyes hot, said Akku. Akku, Akku, look at all the monkeys, said Appa, pointing at the roof of the house. Shoo! Go away! Go away! Here, drink some buttermilk, said Appa. It'll cool you down. Said Akku. I don't want any. Try a sip at least. Okay, fine, said Akku and tried a sip. It wasn't all that bad. She had another sip and another. In no time, the glass was empty. Would you like to have vada? Said Appa. Said Akku. Just one little bite. Okay, fine, said Akku, and took a bite. It was quite good. She took another bite and another, and in no time the plate was empty. Good girl, said Appa. Now, will you please tell me, why are you so angry? No, said Akku. Was it something I did? No. Was it something that Amma did? No. Did something bad happen in school today? Maybe. Oh. Would you like to draw it? Asked Appa. Here's a nice sheet of paper and some crayons. Okay, fine, said Akku. Akku drew a brick. This is the stupid brick that tipped over this morning, said Akku. You're right. This is very stupid brick, said Appa. And Akku drew a boy. This is Bikku, a very, very bad boy. He laughed when I fell down, said Akku. You're right, said Appa. He shouldn't have laughed at you. And Akku drew an idli. This is my idli, said Akku. It fell out of my lunchbox when I tripped over the stupid brick. And Akku now drew a crow. This is a very, very bad crow that flew off with my idli, said Akku. The crow must have been very hungry, no? Said Appa. Now Akku, a teacher. This is my teacher, Amla Miss, said Akku. She helped me when I fell down and then she hugged me. That's so nice of her, said Appa. And then she pinched my cheeks. I don't like it when my cheeks are pinched. Oh, that must have hurt, no? A little bit, but I'm okay now. That's good. See how well you draw, Akku, said Appa. You are a real artist. Will you draw something for Amma too? Okay, said Akku and started drawing some more. There's a little white mouse, and this is a boat, and this is a coconut tree, and this is a sunflower, and this is a cycle, Appa, and this is a dog, and this is a frog. In no time, Akku had forgotten all about the stupid brick that made her trip and fall, and about the bad boy who laughed at her, and about the idli stealing crow. And Akku even forgot how about being angry. So you know what? Children, now we tell this to children, these are the 10 things that if you feel angry like Akku, you should be doing it. Ha, 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 laugh loudly and jump over your arms with your arms in the air. It's very interesting. Just try it out. Slowly, very, very slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Quickly drink some water or some yummy buttermilk. Eat a piece of a fruit or anything that you like, or a piece of vada. How about it? Tell a grown-up about how you're feeling, and you should always do that, isn't it? See how Akku told everything to her father, and now she was feeling so good. Write about how you feel. Yes, you should always write. If you can write, you should always write out about. You should always journal your thoughts. Draw it out, paint it the perfect way. Use your art when you're angry. Play with the pile of clay. That's going to be very distracting for you, and you'll forget about your anger. Make up a song about your anger. Sing it aloud. And last but not the least, dance like a monkey. So this was a story reading. There are many, many, many stories in different languages in this portal. And if you read it out with your voice, with your expressions, your children would be very, very happy. And after telling them the story, you can even make them do certain activities. What makes you angry? Let's talk about that. Okay, so how did you all find the story? Because this is what I wanted to convey, that why stories are powerful, because it's all about emotions. The human is about emotions. When we express our emotions using stories, using art, using doodles, I think we are communicating with the world. We are expressing our thoughts with the world, and that is what is needed. So stories are very, very powerful. So this is all about the subject that I wanted to speak. Is there anything that anyone who wants to ask something? Y'all can also draw something that made you angry throughout the day today. That's again a very good activity. Any questions that you'll have? So I would be very, very happy to address your questions and give an answer to it. Yes, Fabina, are they able to unmute themselves?
Yes, ma'am. I've given them the access.
Okay. So is there anyone who wants to talk about the stories, your experience, and if anything which is there in your mind about the subject storytelling for children?
Okay, I'll take this opportunity to talk. Is anybody there?
They can even raise their hands. Or how did you find the session? You can even talk about it.
I can see Preeti ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
hi,
go ahead.
Miss Komal. Wonderful presentation. And of course, we as educators and especially the ones who are dealing with the pre-primary children, we know how important it is to use storytelling as such an important, as a tool, basically, because that's the way we are able to communicate, we are able to connect with the students and bond with them. And we have always believed, especially in the my a decade or so as the leadership in the leadership role, that nothing works better than storytelling. And I would just like to add on, it's not just for the pre-primary or the kids of the just the teenage kids, but it's about all of us. So storytelling is an art which can be used across the spectrum of the of a school life. So whether it is us as an institution, what is your special story? Because everyone is looking for that unique aspect in your life, in my life, in the life of an institution, in the life of a person's profession or career. And I think it's how we deliver the story. It's how we are able to create a kind of an aura, a kind of an enigma, and a kind of a sense of wonder around the story. And like you said, they have to inspire, they have to sort of involve the listener at a level which sets him thinking. So there's so much that can be done with the art of storytelling, and you really captured it very well, Miss Komal. And definitely a very well presented, you were step by step dealing with the way a story has to be narrated. And of course, you gave an example. So the way you were narrating the story was very, 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 it was wonderful, captivating. And, we all got involved in the entire process. So, yes, a lot of takeaways from your presentation today. So I think we can, all of us, go back, and all of us are storytellers, yes, somewhere we've lost the art because we've got so busy with doing things and keeping up a facade and, trying to match up to expectations, trying to do, there are a lot of other responsibilities, but we as humans are storytellers. So we should, all of us, ignite that creative spark in us and sort of communicate and connect better, because that's the body of the inner soul. So very well done, Ms. Komal. Very impressive presentation.
Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Actually, storytelling, every type of storytelling is a good thing.
Yes.
It makes the soul and body to be active. Active in the sense that it makes you to plan ahead, makes you to look good, and makes you to understand the culture and the social activities going on. Storytelling is a social and cultural activity of sharing stories to tell people, most especially the younger ones, so that they can grow solid, they can be effective, they can be good leader, they can be good listener, they can also be good people in future. Every culture has its own stories or narrative, which are shared as a means of entertainment, entertaining them, making them happy, as a means of education, educating them what is going on, as a means of cultural preservation or instilling moral value, giving them so that they will be good. Most of us, when we are small, we are giving all this area. But this time around, we are not giving. Computer has come to tell us many things. And yes, computer have been telling us many things. But at the same time, the bad things are more than the good things. So it takes the grace of God, it takes the power of God to help. That is why a child who is just coming up, when such opportunity is not given to them, maybe by our parents, we, the parents, are not telling them what happened in the future, how they should guide themselves, how they should behave, it will be dangerous. So it is always good, advisable for parents to tell their children what happened to them so that the children will also be very careful. That's the essence of storytelling. How to tell a story effectively. How do you tell a story so that it will be effective? So that when the child is saying it, and when the child grow up, the thing will be in that child's brain. A great storytelling or a great story usually progresses towards a central moral or message. Therefore, choosing a clear central message. There are a lot of storytelling, but just make sure you are not mixing it up. You are being central. You centralize on one after the other. You can give a story, 2 story or 3 story in different factions, in different areas, but be specific so that the child will listen and get it. Because little children, when you tell them story, they are always very happy. It sink into their memory. It goes inside. They'll be remembering it, re-echoing it.
True.
And also what we look at when we are trying to choose a clear and central message, we embrace conflict. When you are telling story, you embrace conflict. All the conflict involved, you embrace it. You have a clear structure, You mind your personal experience, what you have experienced those days, you mind it. Be very conscious of those experiences. Don't create a fear on the children, but create a situation, even though you are bringing a fear, try to bring solution so that they will not be dreaming bad things or feeling bad. Let them.
Lovely points, wonderful points that you've highlighted, Charles. Thank you so much for contributing and discussing these points in this forum. But yes, all of us, we understand this.
Creating that fear, give them a solution that does you, and you put the same fear before you do that. Anytime you are giving out, try as much as making sure confident. It's always good to put confidence in them. Yes, mind your personal experiences. Engage your audience. Engage them very well. Make sure they are at alert. Make sure they know what you are saying. Make sure they are listening, not for them to be playing. Because when they listen, it goes into them. And when it goes into them, they will be able to produce more fruits by telling people, other children, before you know, your message is going out. Yes, moving. Observe good storytellers. Narrate the scope of your story. Narrate it very well. Let them know. These are the things we are looking at. And there are types of stories. We have linear relative stories. We also have non-linear, and we have quest narrative, and we have a viewpoint narrative. What do you mean by linear narrative? It presents the event of the story in order in which they actually happened. Present it the way it happens. Yes, non-linear, what does it mean? Present the events of the story out of order, employing flashback and other literary devices to shift the chronology of a story. Shift it. That's what it requires. Narrative storytelling also is a story in which the protagonic works tirelessly towards a goal. That is to say, you need to do extra work. There's extra work to do so that the child will be convinced. You have to prove. You have to prove yourself so that the child will understand what you are giving. While the viewpoint narrative is designed to express the point of the view of the subjective personal experiences of the main character or other fictional character in the story. In viewpoint narrative, writing moods, feelings, and other sensory details are given, filtering through narrator's own life and subjective point of view. All these things are looked into when you are giving out the story. And we have 4 P's of storytelling. 4. So those people that are there, that is people, one of the people who is in the story is people. The place where the story was told, where does the story take place? You look at that. Plot also, you look at what is the conflict and the journey. What is the conflict and the journey? The purpose also, P, which is purpose. Why should anyone care about this? That is the purpose of that story. Probably to make a film that challenge people to reclaim their dreams. Look at that area. And also, probably we also look at what are the things that make up a good story. There are things that make up a good story. A good story are easy to understand. When you are giving a story, you make it easy, simplify it to the barest minimum, so that people will understand what we are doing. What are they? What are we going to look at? Good storytelling are easy to understand. Yes, they are also told in a language that matches the way the intended audience communicates. So they don't need to spend time interpreting and then absorbing. You understand
Yes.
it? Simplicity, when you are giving out a good story, very simple. Simplicity also aids the memorability, because overall lesson is easy to grab in summary. Simplicity.
True.
And we also have an element of storytelling. What are the elements? We look at the setting, we look at the plot, we look at the character, we look at the conflict, and we look at the team. There are so many other things, so that I don't want to waste time. Since I'm giving I don't want to waste much time. I think I rest my case here. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yes. Anybody else who wants to share some views?
Well, we had
Let's keep the try. Yeah, sorry. Go on, ma'am.
we had a great audience. So would request
True.
to please also switch on your screen and speak about if you have anything in your mind as you're also telling a story to children and also,
Yes, Miss Veena, you want to speak?
Yeah, a bit is that basically, although I'm not well, I wanted to speak a lot, but yeah, I really believe in connecting with stories, not only with children, but even, as I'm a skills trainer, like for public speaking, I normally, talk about, voice modulation and things as such as we do in the stories. And moreover, stories really create an impact, you take up TEDx speakers, you take up all the rest of the speakers, even, Narendra Modi ji bhi kai baar, what he does is he connects the audience or the population of our country with the stories, So really, stories are really impactful. I would want to just say that. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Veena.
Thank you so much, Veena ma'am. Is anybody there? We also have to keep a track of time. Anybody else who wishes to share the ideas or views or your opinions? Any comments? Truly speaking, ma'am, Komal ma'am, I enjoyed the session. Yes, anyone?
Hello, thank you so much. Okay.
This is Archana Singh, and I'm really impressed by the ways the ma'am told how to connect with these stories. Really, there are the minute points we never know about. Basically, I'm telling you the truth that many things we came to know today. Actually, you are the skill trainer, and basically you deal with this storytelling, and really the story connects with your soul. They give impact in your minds. Even we as a child, the stories we have heard that time, still we remember those stories. So they are really having that great impact on our hearts, especially in very toddler age. And that, as you told, that the stories told at the bedtime, they are directly connected, make you sleep for those 6-7 hours with that imagination, with those characters, with those morals, and obviously they're going to impact more in your heart and mind when you wake up next morning. It's an amazing section, ma'am. It's really nice to listen you, and my pleasure to attend this your session, and it is really awesome. I'm on bedridden. That's why I'm not opening my camera. It's okay. But I really love the way you gave the points and all. And I hope that this session is obviously going to help many of them, as I learned a lot. And I'm obviously going to tell my teachers that they should connect the child with these storytelling skills and the various points they should know. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Archana. That's lovely.
Thank you, Archana ma'am. And Komal ma'am, आपने तो जान डाल दी, बीमार थे फिर भी उन्होंने इतना enjoy कर दिया कि you truly have that as Mr. Charles mentioned, you need to engage your audience, you need to have the essence, so you truly have the essence of empowering people through their stories. Actually, storytelling has become a big art nowadays, and it has become popular. Even in the ancient times, Dadi ki kahaniyan bahut famous hoti thi. We used to always love our nannies and dadis telling us the stories, and then they would put their eyes up and down, and then and all those things. You still have those impactful things in your mind. So similar things that are there, and yes, truly, which we had forgotten for a long time, which Komal ma'am has again retrieved all the memories, and you have actually added one more page to our daily routine, where we'll have to start impacting people also by many more stories. Even the students, the students will definitely love listening. They do love loving listening to the stories, but then how more impactful we can make, I think we'll have to go through it. We have Dr. Mohammed, who has raised his hand. Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Actually, I heard this is a very informative session, but I have to add something like storytelling is the interactive art of using words and action to reveal the elements and images of a story. And this storytelling needs 4P, only 4P. That's people, place, plot, and purpose. And the Komal ma'am, she explained very well. She touched all 4P: people, place, plot, and purpose. And really, it is a great events for us. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Patricia from Zimbabwe. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I was just wanted to say that storytelling, I think it increases level of comprehension, especially when you're talking to children, because sometimes when they are telling a story, it depends on how you tell the story, where there's intonation, where there's high volume, there's high pitch. Children quickly visualize and they can imagine. And then the storytelling also increases their confidence, especially when you tell them to tell their own stories. I know that we do here when we say, come show and tell us what happened over the weekend. Can we have weekend news? Some children now are able to tell their stories, what happened to them. Then besides that, it increases their critical thinking, or also they are also very creative as they try to imaginalize and think of those characters. We are looking at the character, we are looking at the place, and then storytelling is quite engaging. Like one speaker said, and like you said, children normally develop a big ear and a small mouth because they will be listening and they want to learn more. The last point that I want to say is that storytelling can be soothing. It can be a healing platform, whereby if you are telling someone a story related to what has happened to our lives, it can be a healing factor. Think of stories like Cinderella, whereby this child was ill-treated by the stepmom, but eventually right at the end, it had a good ending. Sometimes it heals you. Thank you so much. That's what I wanted to add on, or just to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is lovely points that you covered.
Thank you, Patricia, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes. Can we have different views from different countries? If we have so many, I think we have everyone here. Please unmute yourself and you can speak. But let us have time limits for speaking, so that everybody gets the opportunity. I can see Dr. Satyam. Dr. Satyam, do you want to speak? You can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, sir.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, sir. Tell us.
Sorry, ma'am. Just now I have joined in this group. That's why. Sorry, I did not listen everything.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So we'll send you the link. We will send you the link also. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Is anyone? Hello. Yeah. Anyone else who wants to share the views? Ravi sir, are you here?
Ma'am, yes, please go for, please go for certificate presentation.
Certificate publications. Okay. So Netra, I have to give it to Netra. Netra will be doing it.
Yeah, ma'am. You she will be presenting it. You just need to congratulate her.
Okay, fine. Over to you, Netra. Yeah, present it. It was a lovely session, Komal ma'am. Once again, I really enjoyed, and we were listening to you very patiently, and we went back to those days. Sitting, all these days we are used to. We are in a hodgepodge, running here and there. That calmness, that poise was not there. So today we actually were relaxing, and truly I had closed my eyes. So that's the reason I had switched off my video, which is in true sense that I enjoyed your story. So thank you so much, and it is a real good art that I need to master it also. Okay, so maybe after this session I will give a personal call to you for more information on the storytelling.
Yes, ma'am, and Komal ma'am, all three, Archana ma'am, Preeti ma'am, and Veena ma'am, all three are the principal of different schools. So you have got a good. First, you present the certificate of Komal ma'am.
Nitra, you have to start with Komal ma'am. Yeah. So here we present the certificate to Komal Goenker ma'am. She was the speaker for today, Teachers Training Program 2022 on the IDYM Foundation platform. So here we present it to you, ma'am. A big round of applause for Komal ma'am, everyone. I think wherever you are, you can just have a small clap from there. Okay, and it was a pleasure and indeed an honor hosting this event and introducing such a big personality. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors, ma'am, and God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fabina and IDYM group for giving me this opportunity. I didn't know that I was getting a big opportunity to interact, people who are attending this session globally, like, from across the world.
Yeah, ma'am. There was 12 countries: Thailand, Philippines, Saudi Arabia. You have Nigeria. We have this one, Sierra Leone. There were 12 country members was here, but they have some network issues, so they can't speak sometimes.
They can't speak. Correct.
So we have member from Turkey. We have member from Palestine in the meeting. It's of Zimbabwe. We have Uganda, Canada. All are there.
Thank you, sir. You all are doing wonderful job at IDYM.
Yes, and we must congratulate to Fabina ma'am. She is really a wonderful moderator.
Sir.
Whenever I give some work to her, she is awesome. Amazing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That is the your greatness that you asked us to do something, because such a big platform, otherwise it was not available for us, which is possible only because of your great efforts that you have done. So I really am grateful and thankful that I am a part of this. So thankful to you for this opportunity and for giving us this forum. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yes, ma'am. There was 12 principal, 12 country members, and different other people.
Other people.
So we have 12 principal from different schools also in the meeting.
Oh,
अभी मैम इसको हम और बहुत बड़े लेवल पर करेंगे. Actually, I saw Komal ma'am in Facebook. I'm just telling you how I met Komal ma'am, and I saw her one video. Can you stop sharing the screen, beta, Netra? So I saw one video of her in Facebook, and I like that one very much. So I just messaged to her, ma'am. This video is very. That was the main thing I called her here, because the way she was speaking, जो मैम बात कर रही थी ना मैम, वो बहुत यूनिक था और मैंने वैसे टैलेंट देखा ही नहीं अभी तक. I just told to Denul that this ma'am is very, I think, very intelligent. So we must invite her for one talk show. And that is how I get connected with her, and by God's grace, she is there with us today.
Yeah, and she off the screen, we had a small chat before we presented this entire show today. she had lots of questions, you know. So I told her, I gave her one confidence: do it on this platform, and you will be a big hit. So she actually did not know how big the platform is. So if you can see the expressions that she has, 12 countries, and her eyes were up, popping up.
Ma'am, we अपने foundation में, I just want to tell you, we have 2,500 principals, and we have a member from 151 countries. So your video is going everywhere, whether they are joining through Zoom or YouTube. So you have and we have a 3 Facebook accounts, so it's spreading everywhere.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been seeing all this in our WhatsApp group as well. So as I said, that you all are doing wonderful job, sir. So,
आप मैम एक ही ग्रुप में जुड़ी है ना आईडी मैम का? आईडी मैम को बहुत सारे ग्रुप से।
अच्छा।
इस सब में जोड़ दूंगा तो परेशान हो जाएंगे।
Believe me, Komal ma'am, you will get lots of opportunities after this, the forum, that the platform that you've portrayed your skills, you know. Wait, and all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Over to you, Ravi sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, we can wind up.
Please close the meeting now.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Namaste.